All right, let's take a look at Chapter 12, Digital Interactive Media. This chapter explores the important factors advertisers weigh when considering digital interactive media. This medium has its own distinct characteristics, unique advantages, and drawbacks. Advertisers must be able to compare the merits of this medium and understand the most cost-effective ways to use it in their media mix. The Internet, as you no doubt know, is a global network of computers that communicate with one another through protocols, which are common rules for linking and sharing information. The Internet began in the 1960s as a result of the Department of Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or ARPA, plan to create a network that could survive a Cold War attack. ARPANET had little commercial value. Its primary users were governmental organizations and research universities, and the Internet of today is a far different medium. However, ARPANET was important because its structure, a distributed network, was revolutionary. Distributed network is characterized by many different hubs or links, which allow continuous communication even if some connections stop working. Traditionally, media content has been delivered through centralized networks, in which a hub, such as a TV station, a newspaper publisher, or a cable company, distributes content to many receivers. In a centralized system, if the hub is knocked out, receivers are left without information. But a distributed network is one characterized by many different hubs and links, which allows continuous communication even if some connections stop working. And importantly, no single participant controls content. In contrast, space on the Internet is vast and expansive. Websites can store as much information as a company wishes. There are at least two important distinctions between the digital interactive and traditional media. The first is the cost of time and/or space. In traditional media, time, on TV or radio, and space and print are precious and limited resources. Network TV commercials average 30 seconds, which is a very small window, and that window is expensive, sometimes costing advertisers hundreds of thousands of dollars. The second distinction between traditional and digital media concerns the relationship between those who create content and those who consume it. Traditional media companies are content creators, while audiences are content consumers. But digital media are interactive, blurring the line between content providers and consumers. The connected audience doesn't just consume online content, it interacts with it and helps create it. The web, as its name implies, was a distributed network of content providers and users communicating through a protocol known as HTML, or Hypertext Markup Language. HTML allowed for the relatively easy creation of web pages that can be easily linked to all kinds of content, including other web pages or sites, and later photographs, movies, databases, audio files, and such. Viewing web pages was made easy by the development of web browsers, software that interpreted HTML. Most people looking to find information on the web use a search engine. Search engines are sites that allow people to type a word or phrase into a text box and then quickly find information. Social media exist on the web, so it may seem strange to consider them as a separate category, but for advertisers, social media represent a very different opportunity than traditional web pages. First, social media, as compared with traditional, are uniquely created from audience content. Advertisers look for opportunities to get followers to blog, post, and share about their brands. And they look to interact with them in a freewheeling, somewhat uncontrolled environment. Advertisers use social media to engage with consumers. Information collected from social media helps marketers understand the general attitude toward their brands in the marketplace, and social media fosters interactions that go beyond promotion or advertising. An attribute that attracts advertisers to social media is openness. When someone posts to Facebook, comments on another's blog, or posts a description of themselves on LinkedIn, that information may be open for anyone to see. A host of tools collects all of this information using keywords. Nielsen's BuzzMetrics, or J.D. Power's Umbria Communications, help marketers aggregate all the information being posted about their brands or products to understand the general consensus, negative or positive. People use their phones to download applications and games, surf the web, and send multimedia messages. The appeal for advertisers is that the phone is the only truly portable and personally identifiable medium. And unlike most other media, when consumers view an ad on their phone that they like, they can buy right away. The most common form of mobile advertising, banner advertising, also called WAP, Wireless Access Protocol, is very similar to online banner advertising. Banner advertising is standardized by the Mobile Marketing Association, or MMA, which, much like the Interactive Advertising Bureau, or IAB, for online banner advertising, has guidelines and standards for mobile web advertising. Banner ads can also be placed into applications that have been downloaded to a user's phone and can be swapped as those applications reconnect with the network. I look forward to seeing the banner ads that several of you will no doubt develop for your projects. Another form of advertising, and the one that represents the largest inventory, is sponsored SMS, or short message service. Mobile phone users usually refer to these as text messages. One benefit to marketers who generate these ads is that the end user need not own a smartphone. Almost any mobile device can receive texts. Traditionally, people accessed internet through a computer. However, in recent years, there's been a shift to mobile devices, including phones and tablets. Millions of users also access the web via gaming systems such as the Xbox, the Sony PlayStation, and the Nintendo Wii. This is all made possible through high-speed connections, both wired and wireless. According to one study, 91% of the 18 and over online population has broadband internet access, making it the main connection type to the internet. Broadband connections are really just a description of the ability to transmit multiple signals simultaneously on one data line. For consumers, it means faster web access and quicker data uploads and downloads. Some people believe that the first era of the web has already passed, and that a new philosophy drives the activities of some companies. This philosophy is characterized by the idea that the future of the web is in companies that encourage user sharing and collaboration. Wikipedia, the popular online encyclopedia, is often cited as a prime example of this new philosophy. Cookies are small text files stored on your computer when you visit certain websites. These cookies can keep track of whether a certain user has ever visited a specific site. This allows the website to give users different information depending on whether they are repeat visitors. Cookies also indicate the user's frequency of visits, the time of last visit, and the domain from which they are surfing. Additionally, cookies give marketers great insights into their campaigns on a daily basis, such as the number of times users call for an ad, time of day, type of browsers they use, and whether they click. Typical online marketers employ the services of third-party ad servers. Third-party ad servers deliver ads from one central source or server across multiple web domains, allowing advertisers the ability to manage the rotation and distribution of their advertisements. The best-known companies are DoubleClick, owned by Google, and Atlas DMT, owned by Microsoft. These companies allow advertisers to monitor the performance of their buys on a daily basis, all the way down to conversion or sales. By placing a line of code on the last page of the sales process, DoubleClick and/or Atlas can match the user back to the last advertisement they saw via the cookies placed on the user's computer and credit that advertisement with the sale. This allows the agency to understand internet metrics from advertising to sales in near real time. However, behavioral tracking, this new ability to track people's behavior on the internet, has stirred considerable debate. Although software developers claim that users are tracked anonymously with encrypted identification numbers, privacy advocates believe the marketing method is too invasive. The simplest measurement, yet an area of great controversy, is the ad impression. The IAB originally defined an ad impression as an opportunity to deliver an advertising element to a website visitor. When a user loads a web page with ads on it, the browser will pull the advertisement from its host ad server and bring it up as a banner, button, or interstitial. The number of ad requests received can then be translated into the familiar cost format. The problem with this definition from the point of view of advertisers and agencies is that the advertiser is not guaranteed that a user will ever see an ad. People often click away to some other site before the requested ad ever comes up. Eventually, the IAB and other digital interactive advertising groups agreed that an impression has to be counted on the client side, the web user browser load the ad, rather than the server side. A second measurement unique to the internet is the click rate or click-through rate, CTR. A click occurs when a visitor moves the mouse's pointer to a web link and clicks on the mouse button to get another page. The click rate is the number of clicks on an ad divided by the number of ad impressions. In essence, marketers are measuring the frequency with which users try to obtain additional information about a product by clicking on an advertisement. The real marketing power of the internet is the ability to specifically target an audience in a way that is virtually impossible in traditional media. In addition to general banners, media buyers may opt to purchase more selective space. For example, ads may be purchased in a portal's information categories and subcategories, such as finance, news, travel, or games. Prices vary according to category and increase as the buyer targets a more selective audience. Costs are tiered according to thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of page requests per month. Another augmentation to the general banner purchase is the keyword purchase, available on major search engines. Advertisers may buy specific keywords that bring up their ads when a user's search request contains these words. Keywords may be purchased individually or in packages that factor in the information categories and subcategories of a search engine site. Some publishers will charge their clients according to click-throughs. That is, when a user actually clicks on a banner ad to visit the advertiser's landing page. Although the CPM cost for simple impressions is considerably lower, this method is still unpopular with publishers. When an advertiser buys on a per-click basis, the publisher may expose many users to an advertiser's banner message without being able to charge for the service. For advertisers involved in e-commerce, some publishers offer an affiliate marketing program, whereby they charge a percentage of the transaction cost. For example, a site devoted to music reviews may have a banner link to an online music retailer. When consumers buy music from the retailer, the site publisher receives a percentage of the sale. Contrary to popular belief, consumer targeting on the internet is very cost-intensive. While it is true that millions of people do indeed scour the internet each day, it's still difficult to find and reach specific consumers. Thus, prices for precise internet business-to-business targeting can eclipse even those of direct mail. Internet users surf millions of other web pages each day, many of which are potential sites for effective ads. Contacting all of these sites and negotiating advertising contracts on each is impossible. For this reason, most advertisers work through ad networks, which act as brokers for advertisers and websites. Ad networks pool hundreds or thousands of web pages together and facilitate advertising across these pages. The technical definition of a website is a collection of web pages, images, videos, or data assets that's hosted on one or more web servers, usually accessible via the internet. A corporate site is used to give background information about an organization, product, or service. A commerce site is used primarily to sell a product or service. And of course, there's a fine line between these definitions. For companies like Amazon.com, the corporate site is the commerce site, and vice versa. A microsite is used as a supplement to a website. For advertisers, it is typically singular in focus and delivers on the current advertising message. Any web page can be a landing page, the term used to describe direct links to deeper areas of the website that advertising drives consumers to beyond the home page. Typically, advertisers use landing pages to give consumers a more relevant experience as it relates to the message from the advertising. Most people looking to find information on the web use a search engine. Search engines are websites that allow people to type a word or phrase into a text box and quickly receive a list of information on search page results. Revenue from search engine ads accounts for almost half of all digital interactive ad revenue. Search is dominated by one company, Google, whose AdWords and AdSense programs have become very successful. Thanks to AdWords, Google's search results page is composed of two distinct areas: search results based on PageRank, which are organic, in other words, unaffected by sponsorship, and sponsored links. Sponsored links have three important characteristics. First, advertisers do not pay for impressions, a common practice with banner ads. Instead, advertisers pay only when a user clicks on the link and visits the sponsor's site.